Hello, and hello, and welcome to Race Space. Tonight we'll be kicking off our first round of the SCORCH series, which stands for Stock Car Online Racing Championship. So it's a new series, some old faces in this series. You would have seen a lot of these guys in the GT3 series that we were running previously on Thursday nights. This is a one-make series that uses Chevrolet Camaro muscle cars. It's one make, so it means that only this car is available. Everybody will be using the same car, just the liveries and numbers of the cars will vary. So there are 9 people entered so far in the series. All of them should be on tonight. One guy is just running a little bit late, so we are just giving him a little bit of time to try and catch us before the race begins. There's going to be a 15-minute qualifying session, so we will start soon, and then hopefully he can jump in while that's going on. I may as well just give everyone a run through as to what the teams are and who the drivers are, and then we'll get going. So joining us for this series is, just finding my list here, apologies. Joining us is Dusty Bin from Red Eye Racing. We got Ratek with Savage Racing, BT with Savage Racing, Rock G007 with Galaxy Racing, Ballistic, his teammate in the other Galaxy Racing car. Shadow Britain is with Shadow Racing and his teammate Kenny Shep. Kenny Shep, obviously one of the winners from that winning team of the GT3 series with the Team Cadillac. We now have our last 2 drivers, Matsutsi and his teammate and brother, Trovet Matt. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but you'll see it just now. Let's call him Trov. That's probably the best way that I'll be able to pronounce that one. And they are Scuderia Matsutsi. Alright. They're all giving... there, he's just joined. So perfect timing. We get to start and everyone is in. He appears to be in his livery, so everybody is ready to go. Let's see how it goes. This series is going to run a bit differently from the GT3 series that you guys might have watched. We are doing this one as based on laps and not on time. So where that one was a 45-minute race, this is only going to be laps. Each track, the laps will vary. It's based on a distance. That's how the laps were worked out for each race. This is a 20-lap race tonight. All the distances for the tracks, if it's a road course track, it's going to be a minimum of 120 kilometer distance. That's what gave us 20 laps here. There are 2 ovals in this series, which we'll see later on in the series. I believe that's going to be race 4 and race 6. We'll see those ovals, and that'll be quite an interesting addition to this kind of series. All the drivers now in the pits. You can just see one of the Savage cars pulling out there. It's going to take me a while to adjust to these new cars and numbers, so apologies if there's a while I get used to it. 56 is BT, so that's BT driving out of the pits. You can hear him driving. Okay, Shadow is out on track right now in that yellow car of Shadow Racing. Number 77, as he's so kindly just showed us now. Okay, a lot of guys driving out now. So there's no rules here for if anyone needs to pit. It's not a requirement. Guys might pit, but it's completely up to them. They're allowed to go if they can manage for an entire race without pitting. Of course though, if you pick up damage or you think that your fuel load's too heavy and you can't carry that much fuel around, or maybe the tank's not big enough to get you around for those laps, who knows, but people may have their reasons for pitting still. Just following the number 77 there of Shadow. So these guys are going to be driving out the pits now with their tires cold. They're going to have to warm them up. You're not going to be setting any super fast laps on these tires when they can't grip. We're at Bathurst in Australia. It's quite a well-known track, especially if you follow things such as the V8 Supercar series that is an Australian-based series. Very interesting and fun to watch that series. Just following Dusty here down the hill at the back of this track. Very tight wall section. It can get quite tight there with lots of cars, so I imagine we will definitely see some crashes up there tonight. It claims many a victim. With a new series now, we don't really know yet who are the sort of favorites. We don't know, we haven't seen anybody setting super fast times or anything yet. In fact, right now nobody has set a time yet at all in this series, so they will be going soon to set their first laps. Dusty on his flying lap now. Let's see if he can put in a time. Very long drag down this straight here. Also quite a tight little straight. Not lots of room for overtaking. I'm sure guys will tonight, but it is quite the squeeze. Then into this wall section as you go up the hill. It starts to get a bit dangerous here at high speeds. You can bounce off some walls. These cars also don't react very well on these walls. I did a couple laps here the other day, and they almost seem to mount the wall, drive alongside it for a bit. So something to watch out for in this series. Be careful of the walls. Dusty looking pretty good here though, he hasn't made any mistakes. I think that's Kenny behind him, and that I believe it's 78, the 78 yellow car of Shadow Racing. BT is first one to put up a lap time, currently in first place with Shadow in second. Quite a big difference there in their lap times. BT considerably quicker there, getting a 2:39.5. Shadow sitting at a 2:48.0. So let's see what... oh, someone just overtook BT now, so that's Matsutsi. Matsutsi getting a 2:20, so that's really quick as well. So let's see where Dusty places here, with Kenny just behind him, I'm sure also on his flying lap. Dusty up to third, so not quite as quick as Matsutsi, but Kenny is the one taking the fastest lap there now at a 2:20.5. We've got some more just finishing their laps there in the background. I see Matsutsi's brother moving into fourth place. So that's the name I was struggling to pronounce. I will find out eventually how you pronounce it, but for now I'm just going to call you Trov. It's not his real name, obviously, that's his PlayStation ID. Roy also setting his lap time now at a 2:41. Shadow getting a faster lap time there now. He's on a 2:27, up from his slower lap that he had previously set. He's sitting in fifth place. Ooh! Into a drift there goes Trov, and that was nicely saved. Could have ended badly, but he saved it. Radtech and Ballistic still not to set a time yet. Let's see where they are on the track at the moment. Radtech almost looks like he's there just behind Trov, so he might be going on to his flying lap now, or this might be his time that he's going to set now. So let's just see what happens when he comes around this final corner onto the main straight. He goes over the line now. Is this his flying lap? It is, so that puts him up to sixth place. He's just ahead of his teammate BT there. They're both sitting on a 2:35. Ballistic coming around that last turn now into the main straight. Is this his flying lap? Not his flying lap, so he needs to go around. This is now the flying lap that he is on, so what time he gets here will be his time that he sets. We'll stick cameras on him around here. Does he have what it takes to jump high up on that leaderboard? Not looking bad here, not hitting any walls up. Just as I said that, he mounts the wall. So that was the mounting I was talking about earlier. When the car mounts the wall like that, it kind of bounces the car around. It's not very easy to recover once you've mounted the wall. BT might be looking for a faster lap here. Matsutsi is leading the charge. He's got a 2:20.0, It's a little bit quicker than Kenny, but by not too far, so Kenny might have what it takes to put in some faster ones there. I know that he usually sets pretty fast laps in all the series as we've previously done, so he's definitely got fast lap times in him, Kenny. Dusty not looking bad there, sitting at third at the moment. A lot of this race though is going to come down to who is the most consistent and who can make the least amount of mistakes. It's not always the person with the fastest laps that can do that, so might see some of these guys that aren't setting the fastest laps still make an impact during the actual race, so don't count them out just yet. Radtech up to 4th place, so he's moved up a little higher there on the leaderboard with a 222.9. Dusty now around that final corner. What lap time is he going to get out of that? Is it a better one than what he has been setting? It is. That puts Dusty up to 1st place with a 219.6. So these lap times getting quicker and quicker. Kenny also in those 219s at a 219.8. So is Matsutsi going to be able to answer back here? Is this his flying lap, or does he have to go around again? One of the cars facing backwards there, it's got the red on it, so I think that is Ballistic. Still getting used to the liveries myself. It is Ballistic. He is in that black and red car, the number 75 of Galaxy Racing. His teammate Roy in a same livery but different color, black and orange car, so it's the black and orange 74 Galaxy Racing car of Rock that we are watching now. It's not quite getting the fast lap times some of these other guys are getting, but as I said earlier, it's not wise to count anyone out at the moment. Races always go down differently to qualifying. A lot can change when cars come together on a track and race in a pack. Kenny now overtook Dusty. He's in 1st place with a 219.2. So these top 3 guys sort of answering back to each other every lap now, just setting faster and faster each one. Trov there in 5th place now. BT getting ahead of Shadow again. He's sitting in the pits now, maybe adjusting his setup, maybe getting a pit strategy ready if things go a bit sideways in this race. Shadow just touching the sand there. He's got Radtech right on his tail here. Sometimes you can really feel the pressure in that section. I think he did there, going into the wall. Just checking something out here. It might help. I saw a little bit of lag going on there, so I was just double checking that I don't have any downloads running. Shadow into the pits there, so we got Radtech out on track. This is going to be his last lap that he can set as well, so a lot of these guys now going to do their last lap. Ballistic He's coming around. This is his final shot. Ballistic is coming around. Can he set the faster time that'll put him not starting at the back of this one? Radtech there behind him. Can he get any higher? Ballistic going up one position. He's going to be ahead of his teammate at the start of this race. Radtech staying in fourth though. Just waiting on Trov to finish there at the end. Coming around that corner for the last straight. And he's over the line, so not quite sure if that jumped him up or not, as things just disappeared. He is sitting there in fifth, so right sort of in the center of all of this. Alright, that is qualifying over, and we go into the main race. So it is going to be a rolling start, as you would have seen if you've seen our GT3 series in the past. Cars start off like that. You can see the cars bouncing around there. That's generally what happens as the guys select their setups. The cars change, and the bouncing motion is usually them selecting the setup, obviously changing the specs of their cars a bit, making the ride height different, or changing other settings. They will get going once they've readied up. It is a manual formation lap as well, so Kenny is going to have to hold the speed for a lap. The other guys will have to sit behind him. So the guys would have probably been running not so much fuel in that qualifying, I would imagine. We're going to see the cars loaded a lot more heavily now with fuel. It might affect the braking into corners a little bit and some of the speeds of these guys. So let's see what happens. Can they hold on? Who has what it takes to get this beast of a car under control? Guys are just still readying up. I can see the cars rolling now, so they've obviously readied up. They're just gonna do their formation lap. So in that number 78 at the front leading the pack is Kenny. You'll know him from the Cadillac team in the GT3 series. He also won the 5th round of the Rally Fighters series that's currently running, taking home I think his 3rd win of that series. So Kenny, very fast. It's one of the guys that I'd be keeping my eye on tonight. Behind him we've got Dusty, pretty new to our online racing that we do here at Race Space. He's also in that Rally Fighters series. You would have seen him last night. He drives the Honda Civic in that. From what we've seen though, he's really fast. He sets fast lap times, holds a lot of the Rallycross fastest lap times on this game. In the world, that is, not just in our series. Got Matsutsi there in the... I'm just trying to see the number as it comes past. The number 93 there. It's Matsutsi from Italy. In the GT3 series he raced for the Nissan team. I think he surprised quite a few people with some of his finishes he got there. Scored quite a few points for his team. Radtech in that green and white car there. That is the number 55 for Team Savage Racing. He's teamed up with my brother, which is BT, who's 2 cars behind him. Trov there is the brother of Matsuzzi from Italy. And the number 92. Blue, white and red. BT, we just spoke about him. It's in that other green and white car there. Number 56. Shadow Britain in Shadow Racing Team. He's teammates with Kenny in this series, who's up front. They're in those yellow and black cars. Very nice looking livery there. It's going to be an easy one to spot. The 2 Galaxy Racing cars bringing up the rear there is Ballistic and Rock. Very nice liveries there. Looking very neat. These 2 also teammates in the GT3 series. They teamed up with Matsuzzi and the Nissan team. BT also a member of that Nissan team. So all the Nissan drivers back again in this series. Coming to that final corner now. The guys are only allowed to start racing though once they cross the start line. So they still got to hold and maintain their speed now. Once they get to that start line, it's all systems go. And they are off. Kenny gets into that corner first and he is still leading the pack. Dusty's still in second, so no big position changes happening yet. Down this very long straight that leads up the hill. Dusty looking fast there. He's looking for his moment, seeing if there's any space. Very nice pack there, following in the distance. No accidents happening here, so looking pretty neat so far. I'm quite surprised. As first races go in a new car, in a new series, this has been pretty good. It's looking like it's going to be an exciting series. Ballistic and Rock getting past Shadow, so Shadow probably made a mistake somewhere there. He's probably hit a wall, allowing these guys through, so he falls back while the Galaxy Racing guys moving ahead of position. BT still sitting there in 6th, he falling a little bit behind the other guys. A lot of these guys still ride on each other's tails, so no major overtakes happening yet, but nobody falling completely out of it either. So Matsuzzi late on the brakes there. He gets very close on the back of Dusty. Is he going to do it again? Is he going to try go later on the brakes here? Try gain some ground? Ballistic and Rock past BT now. So BT making a mistake somewhere, but Roy also making a mistake there. Rock G007 making a mistake, allowing BT to go up on the side of him. Not quite enough speed though to get the position back, so he slots in behind Rock. So the Galaxy Racing guys just keeping cool heads, slowly climbing their way up the positions here. We got Ratek, I think, falling back a position. Trov there ahead of him making a move somewhere. We missed it, but climbing up to that 4th position. Matsuzzi very close on the back of Dusty here, still not quite able to make a move though. BT still on the back of rocks, so they are going to be looking to BT very fast through this section. He's looking for some space. Is he going to find it? Right bumper on bumper there. And he tries to go up the inside here. Roy just cutting there but not getting his line right. BT just not finding any gaps right now in this section of the track. Running it a bit wide into the walls. These cars are tough though, they can take a little bit of damage. Top three guys here still very close. Matsutsi looking like he's getting very close on the back of Dusty there. Just doing everything he can to reel him in. Right on his tail there. BT gets through on rocks, so mistake most likely made there somewhere. BT managing to get through, so now he's on the hunt for Rock's teammate Ballistic there. Ratek going for a move there on Trov. He's on his inside, so he might be able to stick it round here. Trov running it wide into the wall, so that just gives Ratek what he needs to get past. Ratek now up for position, takes his 4th place back. None of these guys letting their positions go without a fight. Dusty is behind Matsutsi now, so we've missed it somewhere along the lines, but Matsutsi found his opening. He got through. Now he's working his way up to Kenny. He needs to challenge the leader now. He does look like he's making up some ground here. So Matsutsi is looking very consistent here at the moment. Trov still on the back of Ratek there. He's not letting his position go without a fight. Ballistic falling back. He must have got some serious damage somewhere, because he's very far behind now. He's got a raised bonnet, his bumper's hanging off, so I reckon he's hit the wall somewhere. He might even have to go in the pits. He's not looking very healthy out there at the moment. It's allowed Shadow to get through. Shadow not even with a bonnet, so just as much damage suffered by him there. Both those cars at the back not looking very good, so wouldn't be surprised if they've got a pit somewhere along the line. Matsutsi side by side now with Kenny. He's on the outside though, so I don't think, unless Kenny backs out of this, I don't know if he'll get through there. Still sticking it though. It switches back to the inside, so he's got him. Matsutsi is about to take the lead. Kenny having to go wide, mounting the wall like I spoke about earlier, so Matsutsi is through. Great job by Matsutsi there. Just climb to the lead. He hits the wall and he wheelies down that section. Incredible wheelie, but it didn't even slow him down. He's still going. Nothing can stop him by the looks of it. Dusty also threw on Kenny after that wall mounting fiasco we just saw there. So these two guys just dropping a bit further back from Matsutsi now. Where is Ratek? Ratek's not that far behind either, so he could probably get back into that fight if he works hard enough and he puts in the laps. Question is, did Kenny get any major damage there? He might start doing some slower laps now. Matsutsi looking super strong here though. He's definitely comfortable in that car. Ballistic in the pits, that's what we thought. Some serious damage for him along the way. Not exactly sure where he hit it, but I am assuming it's somewhere at the top of the track, up the hill between the walls. These guys are on their 5th lap now out of 20 laps for tonight, so it'll be interesting to see if these guys can make it without pitting. There is no restriction on pitting, so if they want to pit they can, but they don't have to. Trov back up to 4th, so Ratek making a mess somewhere. Ooh, Dusty there. You can see him coming out of that cloud of smoke. Looks like he might have hit a wall. So he has dropped back quite far now. Matsutsi also must have made a mess somewhere because he's down to 2nd. Kenny in the lead. This has slowed all 3 of these front guys down a bit, which has allowed Trov to sort of catch up to Dusty now. So this is still anyone's race at the moment. Ooh, Matsutsi into the wall at the top there. Shadow goes into the pit, another car that we suspected we would see in the pit, gets a new bonnet on his car. Dusty within range of Matsutsi here. We didn't see how big the impact was that Matsutsi had, so not sure if his car is damaged or not. That could be a factor in this next bit of racing that we see. Dusty also potentially picking up some damage, so the two of these guys, it might be a race of who is more damaged. Did play into Kenny's hands because he's picked up quite a significant lead again. Got Ratek there, not that far behind Trov either, so still a lot of position changes that could potentially happen here. Rock sitting at 7th at the moment, so he did make it up. I mean, he was sitting right at the back off the start, so he's made up 2 positions here, hasn't done badly at all. Dusty now overtaking. That must be Shadow. Shadow would be lapped now. It is Shadow. So Dusty and Matsutsi just overtaking Shadow there. Dusty right on the back of Matsutsi again. Kenny looks to be pulling away now though. Can see that that gap almost looks like it's getting bigger every lap. Got BT up to 5th place, so we have lost a driver somewhere. Just trying to see who we've lost. We've lost Trov. Trov is out of here. So Matsutsi's brother and teammate Trov gone. I wonder if he's retired or if he's disconnected. It isn't telling me anything in the messages here, so if I find out I will let you guys know, but he is out of this race. Gone from 9 cars now to 8 on only the 7th lap. So BT up to 5th place now. Dusty still on the hunt there for Matsutsi. Doesn't want to unattach himself from the back of that car. Still holding on. Looking very quick there. He is gaining a bit on Matsutsi there, just a little. It's unfortunate to see Matsutsi's teammate not in it anymore. Also lost another car. We are down to 7 cars. Just trying to check who we've lost. We've lost Shadow. Shadow also gone from this race. So 7 cars with only 8 laps completed. We have lost 2 drivers. Trov and Shadow are out of this one. So that is unfortunate for Matsutsi and Kenny, whose teammates are gone. So they will be representing their teams tonight and be the only point scorers for their teams. Matsutsi has been overtaken by Dusty now, so Dusty doing well to get past there. But Matsutsi now on the hunt. Very good racing here from the two of these guys tonight. Lots of position changes. If you are watching the stream, you got a favorite driver or you want to shout out to someone, feel welcome to do so on our live chat. think that Shadow retired from the race. Still not sure what happened to Trov though. He disappeared. Not sure if he retired or if he disconnected. Ratic having a bit of a lonely race there. He's sitting right in the middle of the pack here. No cars in front of him, no cars behind him. He's just chilling here. He's doing a little bit of social distancing tonight. BT also looking quiet here in 5th place. He's just racing his own race. Roy a little bit behind BT there. And Ballistic with his pit that he had to do earlier, it's put him probably just in front of BT maybe, but obviously a lap was so behind. So Matsutsi and Dusty ahead of Kenny, so Kenny making a mistake somewhere. Sorry to have missed that one. These guys, every time I look away, they want to change position. So Matsutsi's still hunting down Dusty though. Kenny, let's see if he's got any major looking damage. Maybe just mounted a wall again like earlier. Dusty looking very strong now though, putting in some very good laps. Kenny's got a bit of work to do now if he wants to get back into the fight here for 1st place. Whatever mistake or crash that happened is left him a little bit out of the picture there, but I'm sure not for long. The only of the Scuderia Matsutsi cars on track right now we're watching. Not sure yet what happened to the number 92 of Matsutsi's brother, Trov. We'll let you guys know if we hear what happened. Dusty though, the man of the moment, leading this race in the number 27 Red Eye Racing car. So these guys are halfway through their race. This is the 10th lap out of 20. Most of these guys still holding on. So I only lost 2 people before halfway point. Sometimes in these races the best thing to do is just to stay in, because you get points for finishing. retiring from a race, you get 0 points, so it's not always worth retiring. I mean, the more track time you do get, the better, the more used to a car you will get. So sometimes it's better to stay out there, get the practice in, collect what points you can. Still very quiet there around Ratek. This is the first race of the series, so the guys still getting properly used to their cars. We did see in the GT3 series things heated up a lot more in the last few races as the guys got used to their cars. We can just see Ballistic there, massive damage, almost looks like he's rolled the car or something. So that's probably going to send him to the pits now. I'm not going to be surprised. You can just see his teammate there in the background, Rock, coming around, not looking so badly damaged. So that is Ballistic in for his second pit stop of the night. Kenny dropping back here a little bit, maybe. He might have picked up damage, whatever caused him to drop those 2 positions. May have slowed him down a bit here. Is the 11th lap. We've seen a lot of position changes as the race has gone on, so who's to say there won't be more, but at the moment he seems to be falling a bit behind. Matsutzi's still desperately trying to catch up to Dusty, but just seems to be maybe getting a bit slower as the laps are going on here. Dusty still setting fast ones though. Looking like the more consistent of the drivers at the moment, Dusty is. So that is Gavin, or Ballistic, just coming out of the pits now. Still his windows all a bit shattered. That's what leads me to believe that he may have rolled his car. These cars are very solid, and that amount of damage looked like a lot, so Kenny now coming onto the back of Ballistic. Ooh, BT just hitting a wall there, spinning. So that might have been something similar to what happened to some of these other guys up front, which made them fall back a little bit. As you can see there, it's very easy to do in that section. It's just tap of the wall in the wrong place, running slightly wide out of one of these corners, hitting a curb where you don't want to hit one, and that's the kind of thing that we see a lot of on this track. This downhill section also very difficult if you don't do it right. By the looks of things, Dusty is pulling away from the second place of Matsutsi there. Matsutsi was off to a strong start, but just managing the car might be proving difficult. Kenny also dropping back quite a bit as well. Probably the same story for him. Mark or Ratek still racing his own race here. Hasn't seen much action this race. Sort of been alone for most of it. Shadow's teammate, or Kenny's teammate Shadow there, just cheering him on. Cheering on Shadow Racing. BT going quite slowly through that section, so not sure if he's just worried about what happened last time, or maybe he's also picked up a bit of damage. It's not helping him through this twisty, tight section of the track. So Kenny now very close to the back of Matsutsi, so that leads me to believe that Matsutsi has likely made an error somewhere. Remember, both Kenny and Matsutsi's teammates both pulled out of this race earlier, so they are the last of their team's two cars on the field. Both of these drivers will be looking to get as many points as they possibly can for the team tonight. We've lost another car now. Rock G007 is gone, so 3 cars disappearing tonight. Not sure what happened to him now. Likely a disconnect though. He didn't seem to have too many issues. I didn't see him go in the pits, didn't see him crash the car or anything, so very unlikely that Rock would have backed out, unless it was something urgent, or he disconnected, one of the two. That leaves Ballistic as the last standing car for Galaxy Racing, and he makes a mistake and slides off into the wall there. Luckily it was out of the way and the car behind him manages to get through. Kenny now right on the back of Matsutsi. Matsutsi must be struggling here now because he's running wide there, so Kenny gonna take him now. Kenny does. Kenny gets through on Matsutsi. That puts him up into second place. They're about to cross the line and go on to their 15th lap of this 20-lap race, which means that there will only be 5 laps left. 5 laps to go. Can Kenny hang on to it? Will Matsutsi find a burst of speed somewhere and start to fight for that position again? And can Dusty hold on to his lead that he has managed to carve out in this race? This racing is about as pure as it gets. There's no assists on these cars. Very old school. So it is just man and machine. Matsutsi somehow controls that car going over that hill. Looked like the car went a bit loose there, but he still held on to it somehow. Dusty looking pretty solid here. He's going to go over the line and start his 16th lap of the race. Kenny seems to be pulling a slight lead there, gaining a bit of a time advantage there on Matsutsi. Ratek still in no man's land. His car doesn't look damaged at all though, so likely didn't make many mistakes at all tonight, but just not quite the pace to keep up with the guys ahead, so still fourth is going to be a good result for him if he can hold on to it, and that should get him and his teammates some nice points tonight. Just gonna try and find out what happened to our other two drivers. Just found out from Trov, or Alessandro, which is Matsutsi's brother, he rolled over. I imagine he landed on his roof, and that is probably why he retired from the race. So it was a retirement from him and a retirement from Shadow. Still not sure what happened to Rock though. Just trying to find out what happened. Kenny without his bonnet. So did Kenny roll over? He is now very far away from Matsutsi. I think he might have rolled, or he's hit the wall extremely hard, because his bonnet is not on that car anymore. Every time I look away from these guys, they start to make stuff happen. Got to keep a closer eye on them. So Matsutsi now, this should allow him to hold on to the second place for the rest of the race. 17th lap they're on now. That's 3 laps left to go. Dusty looking strong as ever. Kenny looking very battle torn there. He has managed to recover well in this race though, for all the mistakes that he did make. It shows just how solid these cars can actually be. BT there with some damage on his windscreen, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's hit that wall a few times tonight. But still going strong there. His car's mostly intact, which once again demonstrates the strength of these cars. Very tricky circuit, this one. Probably one of the hardest ones on the calendar. So I think these guys will be quite happy to get it out the way here tonight. Next race we will be going to a New Zealand track of Ruapuna, and that is quite a lot shorter than this one, so it will be a lot more laps. Just looking it up now, it's going to be a 37 lap race, so it's quite a small track. There is potential for there to be rain at that one. We won't know the exact weather until the night, but that might end up as a wet race, so you will see these cars in the wet for the first time next week. So Roy had the same problem there as the one Matsutsi brother. He rolled his car onto the roof, and obviously this being a sim, we don't reset the track, so once you've rolled or you land on your roof, that's where you have to stay for the rest of the race. So retiring from the race because there was nothing more that they could do. Just shows how Matsutsi going very wide there, making a mistake. Kenny in the background trying his best to catch up to him. But it shows just how quickly things can change in this series. The amount of position changes we've seen tonight between these top three. It's just little mistakes that were made here and there. Matsutsi struggling here again. This might help Kenny out. Two laps left to go. Matsutsi just has to hold on for 2 more laps. Coming down this dangerous section here. Brushing the wall there, but nothing that the car can't handle. Kenny though catching him very quickly. So Matsutsi struggling here to keep his car under control for this last few laps now. Radtech still chilling in 4th place here, not too much pressure on him. Reckon that's where he's going to finish his race tonight. Same goes for BT there, he's looking pretty comfortable in 5th place. Just has to not land on his roof and he should be okay. Sounds like Ballistic is doing a donut there. You can just see him half off screen, can hear his car though. I think tonight he's had quite a few collisions with those walls there. It's hurt him quite a bit in this race, but he will be taking 6th place points tonight if he can just finish the race. So he just needs to stick with it and he will be getting some points for 6th place. '19th lap now for the leaders. Dusty looking okay there. Kenny got through, so Matsutsi, we missed his mistake again. Anytime we look away from these two, they pull a move that we can't see. Somebody out of the race. Ratek is gone, so that is not what we were expecting. Not sure what happened to Ratek. Was saying he was going to take away 5th place points, but it just shows you stick in the race and you can take some significant points here. So 5th place points as long as he can finish the race tonight. Just gonna try find out what happened to Ratek there. It's unlike him to disappear. Wonder if it wasn't a disconnect. So even with all this damage he's picked up and all the mistakes he's made tonight, Kenny has still fought hard and he's gonna take that second if he can finish this race. Dusty now gonna do his final lap. As long as he can hold on here, he doesn't need to push too hard and he's gonna take home the win. So Mark also putting it on its roof in the last corner. So that's 3 guys tonight sending that car onto its roof. That just shows how difficult these cars can be at times. From 9 cars to 5 cars. Dusty on that final lap now, he's looking very solid still. Was struggling in the beginning but didn't make that many mistakes, and because of that he's managed to get a very good lead here in this race. Just coming to one of the back markers there, that looks like BT in the Savage Racing car. And they're not going to need to fight here, so BT might just let him go through. If BT lets him go through, then he doesn't have to do that last lap and his race will finish after Dusty's. So he does move over and Dusty goes through. Kenny coming down that back straight as well now, so the race is almost over. Dusty just coming up to the last 2 turns of the race. Just round that final corner. And BT just spinning it in the background there, but that's not going to hurt him too much. And Dusty goes over to win the first round of the SCORCH series. BT's race is over, so he'll be finishing in 4th place. Kenny now coming around for the last turn. His car is heavily damaged there, but still driving. Great race from him. He finishes in 2nd place. Matsutsi, fantastic battles he had in this race today, but just too many mistakes. We didn't get to see them all because they like to make action when we're not looking, unfortunately. But some of these other races, the tracks will be a lot shorter. We will probably be able to see a lot more of the action happening in one sort of space. And Matsutsi mounts the wall over the line. Gavin, or Ballistic, gonna finish the race in the pits there. He crosses the line in the pits. And that is the first round of the SCORCH series. Those are the standings as they finished the race there. Just saving the replay. and screenshotting the results. And that is it for tonight's round of the Scorch series. My replay is just still saving. It's taking quite a while, a lot longer than it would normally take. And it is done. So that is that. Great racing from the guys tonight on a very difficult track on cars that nobody is used to. So I'm sure we'll be seeing the guys getting a lot faster in these cars as the series goes on. I think the tracks are going to get a bit easier. But yeah, let's hope that not so many of them land on their roofs going forward. Well done to everyone that took part tonight, and we will see you guys back next week. Thank you for tuning in if you've been watching tonight. Cheers.